just days before Kenya marks its 60th year since gaining independence in 1964, a section of opposition leaders led by Raila Odinga say that there is nothing much to be proud of. Well, we shall be taking a look on that later on, but remember, my name is Sami Adika, and I do hope your weekend started off well from wherever you are watching. But starting us off from Gilgil, Nakuru County, President William Ruto presided over the 87th NYS Recruitment Pass-Out Parade, where about 10,000 youth graduated in Gilgil, Nakuru County. Now, President William Ruto now says that the National Youth Service will be an anchor institution for all deployment training programs for Kenyans seeking to work abroad, lauding the NYS leadership for providing quality and competitive trainees who were highly sought after in the job market worldwide.
Employment Authority is partnering with the National Youth Service to provide jobs for these young people to go out there and get jobs abroad. As we speak, we've just deployed for the first batch of 40 service and men and women who are going to the UK for readily available jobs in the UK. And we have agreed with the State Department for Labor that we are going to have 50% of everybody going to work out there coming from the job and the labor provider number one, which is the National Youth Service.
Nasema ya kwamba ili kutumia NYS as an incubator, the National Security Council has decided that going forward, all security recruitment, 80% of all security recruitment will be from the National Youth Service. Wale vijana wote sasa tumeamua kama baraza la usalama katika taifa la Kenya kwamba wale wote watakaoajiriwa kwa jeshi la Kenya, kwa polisi wa Kenya, Kenya Forest Service, Kenya Wildlife Service, asilimia 80% watakuwa hawa vijana ambao wamefuzu kutoka National Youth Service.
Now, away from that, days before Kenya marks 60 years since attaining independence, Azimio leader Raila Odinga now says that the nation is still at a crossroad 6 decades after liberating itself from the colonialists. Speaking at the Catholic University of East Africa days before Jamhuri Day celebrations, Odinga said that previous and current governments have oppressed Kenyans through poor leadership and complicated tax laws.
So the country is taking a wrong turn when workers take home only a third of their basic salaries, the rest going to taxes. Take my salary and give me the tax. I'm better off with the tax than the salary. It is wrong when a person earning 50,000 shillings has to surrender 20.5% of that money to compulsory taxes. We need a change that will make our fathers proud of the nation they founded.
Well, away from that, on matters National Dialogue Committee's report, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition co-principal Martha Karua has rejected the National Dialogue Committee report. Karua termed the report released on November 25th unacceptable and troubling. Karua's sentiments coincides with her previous stand, vowing to dismiss the report if it fails to address the high cost of living, electoral justice and independence of political parties. Karua's remarks comes after Azimio leader Raila Odinga partly accepted the NADCO report.
Concluding on the NADCO report, we want to say it has nothing to alleviate the suffering of citizens, but it offers goodies to the leadership. This is totally unacceptable. It is a fraud upon Kenyans. It should be frowned upon and totally rejected. That is the verdict of NARC Kenya. It is a distracting national smokescreen.
Yes.
We are aware that some of our partners may see some good in it. But we say this, One, unfortunately, the findings confirm that the committee was formed by the unwilling, that is the Kenya Kwanza, and was intended to buy time. We remain an integral part of the Azimio coalition, which is a democratic coalition with room for divergent views. Yes. Therefore, NARC Kenya boldly presents its views and unapologetically so.
Well, that is quite interesting. Remember, Martha Karua has been on, or rather has not been on fully on the side of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition's stand. Now we are waiting to see exactly what the coalition's leader, Raila Odinga, will have to say with regards to that specific report by Martha Karua. Now, DAP-K Kenya party leader Eugene Wamalwa has criticized President William Ruto's government for failing to curb the ever-increasing cost of living, opposing claims that the increase in fuel prices is affected by the war between Israel and Palestine. Speaking in Webuye East, Wamalwa said that the government has rejected efforts to reduce the cost of living.
Sio sababu ati watu wanapigana Israel ama Palestine, ni sababu ya ushuru wa zakayo. Ushuru umeenda juu zaidi. Double VAT on fuel, ndio sababu mafuta yako juu Kenya kuliko Tanzania. Dunia yote, the crude oil prices are at the lowest, $69 per barrel. Why is it that in Kenya fuel prices are not coming down? Watoto wetu wa bodaboda wanaumia, watu wote wanaumia, ni kwa sababu ya ushuru wa zakayo. So mambo yetu ni matatu nikimalizia. Sisi tumeambia bwana Zakayo, sababu hata ile Zakayo wa Biblia, si Yesu alipomwambia ashuke, si alishuka jamani? Lakini huyu Zakayo wa Kenya, tumemwambia shukisha bei ya mafuta, bei ya vyakula, Zakayo amekataa. Tumeambia Zakayo ashuke kwa mti, Zakayo amekataa. Sasa kama amekataa kushukisha vyakula, amekataa kushuka kwa mti, watu wakamoto, tufanyeje huyu Zakayo jamani? Tufanyeje? Sema kwa sauti Zakayo, sikia, tufanyeje? Tukate miti? Tuangushe Zakayo? Basi mtayarishe shoka, na tunashukuru tuna shoka kali hapa inaitwa banana misi. Twende kazi. Our country is in a mess. Whether it's in the education sector, integrity ya mitihani yetu now is being questioned. Whether it's the health sector, kuna shida. Ikija kwa
well, quite interesting remarks by opposition leaders right there. Now, Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, in his visit to England, has given a speech at Chatham House explaining that President William Ruto's diplomatic efforts have yielded success and fruit for the Kenyan economy. Now, Mudavadi said that Kenya wants to be recognized internationally, not only because of exceptional athletes, but as a nation with enthusiastic democrats and hardworking citizens.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sparing some time so that we can have an opportunity to engage and discuss a number of issues, not just about Kenya, but perhaps Africa and some aspects of the globe as we see it from Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency President Ruto's diplomatic efforts have yielded significant achievements and benefits for Kenya's economic development. Our administration is embarking upon a new age of diplomacy, where friendships and relationships are interwoven with mutually beneficial economic engagements. The King's visit to Kenya in October crowned a deluge of no less than 25 visiting world heads of state and governments in less than a year, not to mention those who attended the inaugural Africa Climate Summit in September.
What about when we come back to Africa, Your Excellency? That sleeping giant we're calling Africa, what can we do to wake it up? To seek self-oriented solutions to African problems, to have an international system, or Africa, for example, currency, to make sure we are attracting investment, to make sure we are self-reliant? What can we do in Kenya to make sure we are self-reliant?
Yes, I gave the example in my remarks about the Africa Continental Free Area, trade area, and these are 55 countries. Let me tell you that virtually all the countries have signed up. They've submitted the instruments to be part of the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. Now that is a good signal. It's a good sign. And through there, we can work together and enhance the connectivity and trade amongst ourselves.
Well, away from that, as Kenya intends to join the rest of the world in marking World Anti-Corruption Day on the 9th of December under the theme United Nations Convention Against Corruption at 20, Uniting the World Against Corruption, former head of public service Francis Muthaura has proposed critical anti-corruption measures to tame corruption in the country. Muthaura has insisted on the need for government officials to declare their wealth in a bid to follow up on unexplained wealth.
The cases reported on corruption are connected with the public procurement. And I think procurement is something which is very easy to deal with because there are rules, there are laws, procedures which should be complied with. If you fail to comply with those procedures, then you have committed an offense and you should be held responsible according to the law.
Our quarterly report have got big cases. And quite a number of big cases. Some of them is about telecom, other is about the issue of Ronald Ngala College, which is stuck in Vipingo. And we have one that deals with about the senator in Uasin Gishu, where the famous Finland scandal. So for the senator, we have recommended him to be charged. And we are in the process. I think we got a go-ahead to charge him.
We are an independent institution. So the work that we do according to the mandate that has been given to us. Whether we get support or no support from different quarters, that's a different issue. Where we get support, we appreciate that support. But if we were to go only by cases where we have support, then we would not investigate many cases.
Well, now on matters security. Leaders in West Pokot County have raised concerns over the increasing cases of insecurity that have left hundreds of residents living with disabilities and unable to earn a living. The leaders are now urging the government to consider increasing the interest of the county residents, including setting basic structures that consider the interest of those living with disabilities in the county. In addition, they are asking the government to strengthen security and end the banditry prone in the North Rift region.
Kwamba na masilahi yao. Mwisho, waziri, tuko na shule chache hapa katika kaunti ya West Pokot ambayo inashughulikia hao walemavu. Tuko na shule moja hapa ya Blinds Kapenguria na vile vile tuko na ingine Bobleo pale Kanglikwan na Kiringeti. Kama kuna uwezo kutoka kwa partners ambao wamefika hapa na serikali kuu, mkuje mtusaidie ili kwamba tuweze kushikilia hawa.
Kama county tunaelekea kushirikiana na mashirika wote, serikali kuu na wale wote wametusaidia kuona kwamba walemavu wamepata haki bila ingetakikana. Kwa hivyo waziri mstahili kusema mengi, mstahili kusema yale viongozi wengine wamesema.
My ministry, in collaboration with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and organizations of and for persons with disabilities among other stakeholders, also support needs assessment of persons with disabilities and their primary caregivers. The main objective of the assessment is to provide evidence on the met and unmet support needs of diverse persons with disabilities and their family members to inform them.
Well, crossing over to Machakos County, the county governor Wavinya Ndeti has cautioned both local and foreign investors who may be tempted to evade remitting necessary revenues to her administration by implementing development projects in Machakos County without approvals, noting that it's mandatory to seek approvals from the county's Department of Lands housing, urban development and energy before commencement of any development. The county CEO spoke when she presided over the official groundbreaking of the Great Wall Gardens Phase 6 housing project in Athi River, Machakos County. The project is being implemented by Edenman Properties Limited.
The overall development of this region has clearly triggered a ripple effect in the local economy by creating thousands of direct and indirect job opportunities for young men and women. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. My government has been offering the best investment environment for both local and foreign investors, and we are keen in sustaining that culture because we believe it will ultimately be of mutual benefit. And that is why we are asking the national government, because this is the most industrialized town in East and Central Africa, to look at the cost of fuel and electricity. Because if that does not come down, we're also losing business to Tanzania. We have a lot of people from here relocating to Tanzania, Uganda, and Ethiopia. And as a country, we cannot allow that. We have to look at ways of bringing down the fuel costs. If there's anything as a county we can do to reduce the cost so that our people can buy more houses, we'll be willing to look at it with the county assembly. Because as we want investors to come and invest here, Machakos is the place to invest.
Since our inception, we have built over 7,225 residential housing units, with most right here in Machakos County. Today, as we break ground for GWG6, we mark the beginning of a project that will add 3,110 more units to our portfolio, bring our total to over 10,335 completed residences. We appreciate Machakos County for fostering an environment that supports development and business. Shillings per $1. Economic fluctuations, disruptions in supply chain, and the issue of illegal land occupation, all of which have tested our research.
Well, now shifting gears to matters gender-based violence. As the country marks 16 days of campaign against gender-based violence, especially among women and girls, leaders in Kirinyaga County have expressed fears, claiming that the cases have increased to a greater extent. In addition, Kenyans have been urged to report those cases and enable justice prevail.
We are celebrating the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The campaign on 16 days of activism against GBV is a very important period in our events calendar and proves that we are united with the rest of the world in combating the scourge. The theme of today's theme is Unite, Invest to prevent violence against women and girls. For many years, women and girls have been facing oppression and injustice in this country. They have been harassed in their homes, at workplaces, and were not even safe in their communities. We have made huge strides over the years, and now women and girls have a voice in the society. The achievement of this milestone can be attributed to many factors, but most importantly,
now in Webuye, 9 business operators from Webuye East are counting losses after fire razed down their stalls. The business operators have noted that the fire that broke out at 9 p.m. Thursday night destroyed property worth millions. The operators are now blaming the county government for failing to respond on time as the fire engines arrived after the entire premise was burned.
Moto imelipuka kwa kioski moja. Sasa hatukujua ni nini ilifanya itokee. tukapambana nayo, tukajaribu kuzima, tukatafuta mchanga, maji nayo haikuwa, lakini mwishowe tumeenda hasara ya pesa mingi.
Mimi nilikuwa na maji kidogo kama lita 60 hapa, ndiye alijaribu kusima lakini haikuwezekana. Paka yangu ikashika. Mimi nilikuwa na vitu mingi sana, hata sikutoa, hata yenye nilitoa sijaiona. Nilikuwa na siri hapo, nilikuwa na vitu mingi, chakula hapo imeungua.
Lakini hatukuathiriwa wote, sio? Mimi naona kama karibu watu 8 hivi. Na tulikuwa tumesema majina yao, tuone kama kuna shilingi 5 ya kuwapatia, hata kama ni kununua mabati 2 kurudisha, wasaidiwe, sio? Na tuwapatie heshima wale ambao waliathiriwa. Unajua kuathiriwa haiko mapenzi ya mtu, sio? Wale ambao waliathiriwa, na kama kutakuwa na kitu kidogo, wale wasaidiwe. Usitake kufaidika mahali penye mwenzako.
Now taking a look on a tragic incident in the coast, our team of 50 divers and fishermen has been dispatched into the deep sea in search of the bodies of 4 fishermen believed to have drowned in the Indian Ocean a week ago. Now the search exercise started at about 1 p.m. Thursday, hours after its members were equipped with lifeguards and nets procured through the office of Malindi Member of Parliament, Laura Nyazi. Now the 4 fishermen are said to have set out for a fishing expedition from Baobab area of the Shela beach on Thursday and never returned.
A team of 50 divers and fishermen has been dispatched into the deep sea in search of the bodies of 4 fishermen believed to have been drowned in the Indian Ocean a week ago.
Waine walioweza kupotea juzi siku ya Alhamisi mpaka hivi leo ikiwa ni siku ya 7 hawajapatikana. Na kwa sababu ya wanabaharia wamekosa vifaa vya kwenda baharini, ndiposa mbunge jana jioni.
The search party set for the dangerous trip about 1 p.m. Thursday, hours after its members were equipped with the lifebuoys and net procured through the office of Malindi Member of Parliament Laura Nyazi. The 4 fishermen identified as Ans Baraka, Bayran, Fahad Ali and Mohammed set for a fishing expedition from Boab area of the Shell beach on Thursday but never returned, and rescue efforts yielded no fruit, leading to anxiety among their relatives.
Stakeholders pamoja na mashirika ya serikali ambayo yanasaidia kwa kwenda kutafuta ambao wamepotea kwa bahari, na tunapozungumza sasa hivi tuna vikundi ambavyo vimeingia kwa bahari Hindi kwenda kujaribu kuwatafuta. Kila ambacho ningeuliza wavuvi na mashirika ya serikali ambayo yanasaidia kwa kwenda kutafuta ambao wamepotea kwa bahari, na tunapozungumza sasa hivi tuna vikundi ambavyo vimeingia kwa bahari Hindi kwenda kujaribu kuwatafuta. Kila
Handing over the equipment to representatives of the team members, the program's coordinator at the MP's office, Mr. Dixon Chilago, said the rescue mission has been hampered by the lack of modern equipment that will have enabled the fishermen and the divers to venture into the deep sea in search of their colleagues. Chilago asked the county and the national government to provide rescue boats in the strategic areas along the Indian Ocean in the county to help rescue savers another person who may be involved in the accident within the sea.
Kikosi changu nimekiandaa vilivyo, na tukitoka hapa moja kwa moja tunaenda kuungana na wenzetu wengine tukiwa na zana hizi ambazo tumekabidhiwa na mbunge wetu Madam Amina Mnyazi. Tuna uwezo sasa, kwa sababu tumepata zana, tutaingia paka pale Majimafu tukaweze kutafuta mili ya wenzetu wale ambao walikuwa ni wenzetu wa karibu kabisa.
Na shukuru sana kwa kufika hapa kupata hizi zana nilizonazo, nyavu na life jacket, kujiandaa kwenda pambana na kutafuta mili ya wenzangu ambao ni wavuvi wenzangu.
Malindi Divisional Assistant County Commissioner Irene Munyoki called on the fishermen to report the sea accidents immediately they happen to enable the government to organize emergency response teams and thus save lives, noting that the incidents were not reported to security agencies in time.
Hoteli tumewafundisha ya kwamba wakuwe na rescuers ambao wanawaeleza wageni wao wakati mwafaka wa kwenda baharini na ule ambao sio mwafaka kwenda baharini.
Ingawaje ni jambo la kusikitisha kwa sababu tumechelewa, lakini ni heri uchelewe lakini ufike. Kikosi changu nimekiandaa vilivyo.
She also urged the fishermen to ensure they use life-saving equipments as well as boats that have been inspected by the Kenya Marine authorities while venturing into the deep seas in order to prevent similar incidents especially during these times when the tides are high.
Boti toke Malindi atakuwa tayari ashakufa. Kutafuta huwa ni shida. Kama juzi yule alifariki hapa akachukua kama siku 4-5 ndio akatokea huko kando kando ameoza. Why? Hakuna watu walioandikwa hapa kufanyaje kuokoa mambo kama hayo. We can do it na tunajitolea.
Toromo Dennis, EBN TV, Prime Edition.
Well, many thanks Toromo Dennis for that specific report. Now moving on, residents of Thimlich in Nyatike, Migori County want the government to help them get back electricity, saying they have been in darkness for over 5 months. The residents, led by Eric Odhiambo Omolo, said a number of electricity poles in the region have fallen down since the transformer which serves them developed mechanical problems several months ago. Omolo said that the hope of getting electricity in the near future is becoming darker day by day as the old power line is going down, as it has not been maintained for a very long time.
Na ukiangalia kila kitu hapa Nyabohanse ina depend kwa stima. Na imagine saa hizi inaenda 3 weeks. Hii transformer alikuja wakatoa. Na venye wakutoa hawakutumia ile protocol. Unajua sometimes ukitoa transformer uende nayo lazima watu wengine wakuwe involved. Hii serikali walisema hivi through President William Samoei Ruto. Alisema hivi, hii ni nini ya bottom up. So hiyo bottom up alikuja akatoa hii transformer akaenda nayo ndio itwe bottom up. Ama venye walisema hivi uchumi utakuwa 24 hours. So waliona hii center yetu ya Nyabohanse waje watoe hiyo stima ndio 24 hours ionekane ama ilikuwa madharau. Kitu ya pili, sisi ukiangalia hizi household zote hakuna illegal connection sababu kila nyumba imedropiwa stima. Line ya stima utaiona hata mkimilika kila nyumba iko na line ya stima. Kwa nini tukae 3 weeks bila stima Nyabohanse? Watu wengi wanategemea hii stima from lighting kwa hizo hospitali ziko around hapa, watu wa welding, watu wanafanya biashara. Kuna watu wanafanyanga biashara hadi usiku. Saa hizi ukiona watu wanatembeanga na machaja kwa mfuko. Ukiona watu sometimes wako na madelights hizi za rechargeable. Hii serikali kama mtaki kuturudishia stima tutajua the next step. Through you CS Chirchir, Migori County is really messing us. If they need, they have to give us back the lights. We can't be staying like zombies mahali penye tunafaa kuwa, and it's a headquarter of this world. It can't happen and it will never happen. We need the lights back and don't give lame excuse. We are going to the festive seasons and right now we don't have lights. What do you expect? You are going for the leaves. Most of you who are working at the Kenya Power, you are going for the leaves. So you are using an excuse so that you can bring the lights back in January. That's very bad. Stop arrogancy. Bring the transformer back. We need the transformer and the lighting back in Nyabohanse.
Well, now on matters tourism, stakeholders in the tourism sector in Mamburui area in Magarini, Kilifi County have launched an ambitious campaign to clean the Indian Ocean beach to improve the environment and attract more tourists to the area during this December festive season. Led by the famous stakeholder of tourism in the area, Julius Mwini, the stakeholders have said that the presence of a clean environment in the area will attract more tourists and provide jobs for the residents of the area, especially young people.
Tumeanzisha hii grupu tusafishe mazingira yawe masafi ili mgeni akishuka huku hakikishe huku chini kuko na usalama. Hata mtu akitaka kuzama na maji tuko hapa tunawasaidia. Hiyo ndio kazi ya hii grupu ambayo unaiona hapo nyuma yangu. Wageni wengi hasa wa Nairobi local tourist huwa sana acha local hata wenyeji huwa wanakuja hapa kuogelea. So tunaweka hii eneo liwe sawa kwa sababu wale wa sand dunes wakija waweze kuenda wakute maeneo yako salama. Wale wa kuogelea wakute beach iko safi, wana maeneo yako salama. Kwa sababu hapa kuna masteda, kuna madai lingine tunaomba, manake hatuna vifaa vya kusafisha. Tunaomba hii serikali ama county iingilie kati, ama MCA wetu hapa Magarini ingilie kati. Najua tuko na yeye, ametusapoti sana hapa baharini.
Tunatumia mikono yetu, hatuna vifaa vya kujisaidia ama kujitetea katika
mambo na hygiene. Kama mnavyotuona hapa, tumetumia tu mikono yetu na vifaa ambavyo tumevitoa tu nyumbani, hatuna vifaa muafaka vya kuweza kutusaidia. Kuna hizi chupa za plastiki ama pia karatasi za lailoni za watu wamekunywa juice. Hatuna mahali muafaka wa kutupa zile taka. Mtu anakunywa juice anarusha, mtu anakunywa juice yake ya chupa anarusha. Lakini endapo tutapata vifaa kama zile dustbin, ile mitungi ile ya kuwekea dustbins za kuwekea taka, sisi wenyewe tuna vile tutajimobilize na tutajipanga. Nani atakuwa pale siku fulani akiona watu wanapita kama vile, jamani tafadhali umetumia, pana mahali pale anadirektiwa ama anaonyeshwa, anaweka zile taka pale mahali salama.
Itakuwa haina haja watu wanakuja watalii kutembea, beach yetu ni chafu. Kwa hivyo kama tutapata ni viti, ni gloves, ni tent, itakuwa msaada zaidi. Halafu wageni pia nao watakuwa wanakuja kwa wingi kutembea haya maeneo yetu.
Well, that right there from the coastal part of the country marks the end of tonight's EBN Weekend Edition with me, Sami Adika. Many thanks to Carol Ndunge, among others, for tuning in. Now, I do wish you a fantastic weekend ahead and a good night.